Sissel and Verse, and today I'm going to be wrapping up my Kaboomathon reads. I know Kaboomathon was a little bit ago now, but you know, things kind of happen, things get in the way of me filming, so I'm just now getting to it. I was happy with myself, I got a double bingo, yay me. And it was like a nice confidence booster because subsequent readathons and reading goals were not met. If you remember, I said I wanted to read all the books I bought and hadn't gotten to reading yet by the end of the year, and that didn't happen. There's at least 10 more I have to get through this year, and then I asked for some for Christmas, so that's like a constantly turning hamster wheel of goals that won't get met, books that need to get read. That's the life of a book lover, I guess, but so it was nice to have this little win. Anyway, on to the books that I actually read. First up is Adorned by Cheap by Jack A. and with art by Magnus Eto and Tiana Monet. I used this for the black and white category and I loved it. This was a really, really fun read. I would highly recommend this. So I mentioned in my announcement that it is a magical girl manga, and the characters are Adeze, who's sort of shy, she's withdrawn, and she's very anxious. And there's Kalechi, who is a goth, she's albino, she's very into witchcraft, and she has a twin sister, Gogo, who's upbeat, she likes to party. I kind of tend to get annoyed by the really happy-go-lucky magical girl in the group, but I really liked Kalechi, how Kalechi and Gogo interacted in their sisterhood. I thought it was really cute. Then there's Kyra, who is very spiritual. She's very into water. And I think there's Mami Wata imagery with her. I was proud of myself that I was able to spot it, because Kyra controls water, and she also has a snake. And I think that's what it's supposed to be. I think I got it. Then there's Emeka, who is the only boy in the group, and he is an athlete. He is very competitive. He has very big plans, big aspirations for himself, and they're all in a group. And I'm not entirely sure what everyone's powers are yet. Kalechi is anti-gravity, Gogo is light beams, Kyra is water manipulation, and I forget Emeka's and Adeze's. And the creatures that they have to fight are the Mwanwu, who are being created by the Do-Nothing Society. It's really hidden in shadows yet. We don't know who started them, why they're popping up now. And we know what they want, but it's world domination, and it's that's very vague. Who's the mastermind behind everything? How's this started? There's gotta be more to it, right? There's some secrets with the Mwanwu that Adeze knows, but the others don't know. I was very happy when Kyra showed up but Kyra in particular has a certain respect for life that I think will have her mesh very well with Adeze's personality and lead to interesting developments once everyone learns the secret about the Mwanwu. This manga was very beautifully drawn. I loved the costumes, I loved transformation sequences, they were great. It's really cool because people actually did cosplays for this. I'm blanking on who the cosplayer is, because I thought there was one who did multiple of the characters. I will find her and link her. But yeah, I just love the designs. They were so nice. Each of them sort of has a little animal sidekick who kind of explains the powers to them. They were okay. I don't really remember much about them, but again, this was the first volume. There's still so many questions. There's so much to be answered. I'm sure we'll get to them eventually because, they also kind of have a little side story going on. But I think it's just, too soon to know everything there is to know. So it was that. Transformation sequences were great. Costumes were great. Yeah, I especially loved Adeze's with the little head wrap. It was so cute. She looks so nice. The Mwanwu designs are also really good. If I remember correctly, they're supposed to look like masquerades, and they definitely are that. They're very large, they're very scary looking, and I felt I saw some of the visual references. I'm not Nigerian, I don't really know a whole lot about masquerades, but from the little that I have seen and read, I felt I was kind of able to see some of the references, and just the drawing on them is really nice. The line work and stuff, I loved it. and I need this to come out. I need the next volume to come out like ASAP. I didn't really have any nitpicks about this one. I just was wholly immersed in this very fun world that, Jack A. and Tianmo Monet and Magnus Eto have created. Next up is House of Whispers issue 15. One moment, I just have to look at who's on it because it's a lot of people. It's written by Nell Hopkinson, who I know off the top of my head, but it's also co-written by Dan Waters, cover art by David W. Mack, penciling by Dominique Stanton, coloring by John Rauch, and Zach Atkinson. Okay, so I use this one for non-human main character next in a series in Marvel vs. DC, and the non-human main character actually worked on multiple levels. Not only is Ersley a goddess, also in this issue she spends most of her time as a cat, so it kind of worked really well for me. I was kind of disappointed in this issue. So last time there's this new character, Dejuna, who looked like she was going to be very important to the plot, very important to Ersley moving forward. And we start this issue and she's just like not there. There's no mention of her. And that was disappointing. And also, we started off in kind of a weird place. There's like more cosmology of this world being introduced to us, which is like fine. It's interesting enough. It's just a little discombobulating because there's some new gods introduced that we just haven't mentioned before. And it's like they're on like a higher plane than Ersley and like the gods that like she mostly hangs out with. And it's a little like confusing. Like, I haven't read Sandman, so I'm just going to kind of chalk it up to that. But, like, I feel like, why am I just now hearing about this? I don't understand. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of how that's being handled. So that was one thing. And then also, we started out with, like, this big dramatic moment that has, like, happened in the past when we're dealing with the aftermath. And I was like, wait, what? The story isn't confusing, like, starting from where it is. But it just feels like a missed opportunity to tell us that story because the moment is like really tense and like very heartbreaking to me. And also like I just didn't realize that was something that could happen because like the last time all the characters were together, like that this incident involves, there really wasn't any sign that this was a possibility. So I was like, oh my goodness, like this could have been an issue, like, or two. I don't know why they skipped it. So this issue is a bit of a disappointment. My engagement with House of Whispers has been kind of like a little like, yeah, like all over the place. Like, thought it started out slow and then I got really into it and then I like kind of got bored and then I got really into it. So I'm hoping that like we're just like in like a little valley of engagement right now and like it's gonna go up and hit a peak. Last issue was just so good. And I'm kind of disappointed that it feels like we're starting from scratch and that, like, there are pieces of the story missing. But on the whole, it was still good. The art's still nice. There are some nice, like, allusions to, like, fairy tales and storytelling in here that I enjoyed. So, I wasn't like, wow, I wasted my time by reading this book. I don't know. Next comic I read was Far Sector by N.K. Jemisin, and the art's by Jamal Campbell, and I used it for This Just In, because it's a new release. It's in this place where no one has emotions, and someone's just been murdered, and it's a big deal because I haven't had violent crime in a while, and Sojourner's the Green Lantern there, and it's her job to investigate it. And it was so good. I was not disappointed. I really liked the artwork. Like, I felt like Jamal Campbell did a really good job in terms of, like, the color scheme. Green's prominent, so it like fits in with the whole Green Lantern thing. And like the speech bubbles will be green sometimes too, and they look like a high-tech, like a hologram message in the side. And he does like cool things with Sojourner's uniform. She makes her glasses with her Green Lantern powers, and so instead of like her like taking them off and like putting them away, like sometimes she'll like make them fade or she'll make them like flare out of existence. Like maybe she'll like get rid of one lens and keep the other. So, or like she has a badge and like it's not a real badge. She like makes it with her Green Lantern power, so she'll like project it places or like move it places, and it's just really cool. I thought that was a nice touch. I'm still a little disappointed with the no emotions dynamic. Like, I'm giving it time because it's the first issue. It doesn't feel tropey per se. It doesn't feel like something I've seen before. Like, at this point, it feels like it doesn't have a purpose because the people who don't have emotions act just like people on Earth. And so I'm like not entirely sure how this no emotions mechanic works or how it's actually like affecting the people or their behaviors because I don't see a change in behavior, if that makes sense. But again, first issue, I'm giving it time, and like I was just super invested in this story. And then next I read the first issue of BB Free, which is written by Gabby Rivera with art by Royal Dunlap. And BB Free is about this 15-year-old named BB who lives in a post-apocalyptic Florida. It's like revealed that in the society it's normal for 15-year-olds to have something called the Freedom 15, where they kind of like roam out from their community and they like spend time on their own for like a year. And BB has this radio show with her friend Chulita, and her dad doesn't want her to go do the Freedom 15. He's very protective of her, so he doesn't want her to go, and BB's trying to figure out how she's going to sneak out. And so far, I really like it. We don't know a whole lot about this world yet. Like, it looks like it's not quite our world. Like, I mean, obviously, like, a disease that targets rich people is kind of like, oh, yeah, that's, like, not of our world. But also, like, looks like there's, like, other elements that are, like, supernatural in this world that we're still, like, kind of learning about. And so far, I really, really like it. Like, I like the art. I like the color scheme a lot. The synopsis hasn't named who in the series falls under what part of, like, the LGBTQ plus umbrella. But so far, it looks like BB might be gay or might be, like, bi or pan. It seems like she likes women, is romantically interested in women. And she also might not be cis. It's unclear enough if it's her, like, questioning her gender identity or if it's her just feeling like she doesn't live up to the gender roles that she has in her head. So that's BB's character. I like her. I wouldn't say she's angsty, but sometimes it feels like she can be a little flip to me. Chulita is BB's friend who is the one who uses the wheelchair that I mentioned in, the announcement. I don't know a whole lot about Chulita yet. She seems cool. This radio show they host seems cool too. So right now I'm just like, oh, like that was a nice introduction. I'm pumped for the next issue. I don't know a whole lot about what's going on, but like, I can't wait to learn. So we're in a good place with BB Free. Next up is Wakanda Forever, which I used for To the Library. I sort of followed the main arc of these comics. Like I followed the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, and it's in that same universe, I'm pretty sure. But it felt like a side quest. Like it didn't tie into like the main line I had seen in like those comics. I kind of got into this thinking it was going to be like kind of more fun, more lighthearted, but that was a big disappointment actually. I got into Black Panther through the movies. I really liked Nakia in the movies. Nakia isn't my favorite. Hands down, Okoye is my favorite from the movie. Followed by Shuri. But like I still like Nakia, I still want good things to happen to Nakia. So it's kind of hard to see Nakia in this issue. She's basically like on drugs and like she's really like haggard looking and like she's like very out of it, and like this whole like Nakia and Storm like fighting over T'Challa thing, I just like wasn't feeling it. So I was just like, if this was like a side quest and like this just isn't like the side quest I would have wanted to see, and it's just kind of hard to see like a character that I love so much like in that condition, and for it to feel like there isn't really a reason per se, like from a storytelling perspective. We sort of talk about why Nakia is doing what she's doing, but like on the whole, I still felt like a disconnect. There just like isn't a whole lot of her character presented. Like it's like these are her reasons. Like, well, yes, like a person could use these reasons to do the things that she has done, but like, are those the reasons Nakia would use to do the things that she has done? If that makes any sense. And so it just felt like she was kind of like reduced to that state for like nothing, and it just was like, it made me feel icky. I liked seeing the grace that she was given and the humanity that she was given. Like I didn't feel like she was turned into the butt of a joke. There's like little moments where it's like, oh, the Dora Milaje are like sightseeing. This is fun. There's like a bit of Storm is waiting for T'Challa to show up and she wants to make him a nice dinner, and so she goes to the African grocery store and she's like looking for plantains, and she's like explaining to Nightcrawler how you find a good plantain. It wasn't like a big investment of time on my part, so like I might have just like read it for the sake of reading it, but like it's not the story I thought it would be, not necessarily the story I felt like reading at the time, so And last one is Malika Warrior Queen Part 1, which I used for From Another Time and Out of Your Comfort Zone. I wasn't initially planning to use it for Out of Your Comfort Zone, but as I was reading it, just kind of became clear to me of the ones I'd planned to read. I like put it towards the end because I was like, I don't really know. I haven't read anything by it's by Roya Coupe, and the credit list for this is super duper long. One second, let me pull it up. So there's a lot of people working on it. I'm just going to list the people from Goodreads because they offer like an abridged version. But it's written by Roya Coupe, and it's illustrated by Chima Kalu and Raphael Kazim. And I just haven't read anything from Roya Coupe before, so I didn't really know what to expect going in. And I was pleasantly surprised. It was like a good read. I really liked Malika's character design. Like, it's very iconic, I would say. I don't know, I kind of couldn't get it out of my head, if that makes sense. I don't know, the more I looked at it, the more I was like, wow, this is like a very nice character design. It's like very sleek. I like the color palette. It's also kind of out of my comfort zone because this is a little more war focused. Like, it looked like it was going to be very strategy heavy. We get a lot of maps and a lot of geography, and I'm just like not used to reading like political dramas like that. Like, this is not my thing. But it was well done. I appreciate that Roya Coupe cites his inspirations because that is useful for me to find things to Google later so I understand them better. Like, there's a lot of like, oh, like this region is based off this actual region in Nigeria, and like here's what it's called, and like this item is based off this actual legend, and like, you know, here's what it's called. And that's just helpful for me for further research. In terms of criticisms, I had a little bit of an issue relating to Malika, but I think it's just like a personal preference thing. Like, for me, Malika is very powerful and very like kind, very nice, very principled. And really, most of her problems aren't a result of anything that she does per se. She's just like a good person thrown into like difficult circumstances that like anyone would struggle to navigate. And she's just kind of trying to do the best that she can. Like, that's not bad. It's just like not a character type that I'm big on. Like, I tend to either like certain types of characters or like characters with like some like flaw that they kind of like work on or progress through, if that makes sense. And that's not who Malika was. So on the whole, this was a good reading challenge for me. I really liked the materials I got. I forgot to mention at the beginning, but this was hosted by Chapter Kate and Reading with Noria, who I will link in the description box below. If you like the video, please like. If you want to talk about anything I just mentioned in the video, please comment below. If you want to stay up to date with me, please hit subscribe. And also follow me on Twitter and Goodreads for daily updates on my bookish activities. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Goodbye.